Hello everyone, this is Nimious, and we're going to talk about a very different gacha game today. You might have heard of it. It is called SINoALICE, and it's been directed by the legendary Yoko Taro of Nier and Drakengard fame. It features a wonderfully grim world that has been a lot of fun to explore. It's developed by Pokelabo, and they're also the sponsor of this video. Now I'm really glad about that because this is one of the games that has caught my attention from over a year ago. It's a game that has somehow taken the fairy tales of our childhoods and morphed them and altered them into something completely unexpected. I've had a lot of fun playing it on stream recently, and it's really caught me by surprise with how interesting it is. You think when you take the main characters of a bunch of childhood fairy tales, you get something nicer, cuter? Instead, I've constantly had a subversion of expectations. Every character surprises me in more ways than one. And, well, I should have expected that because that is the calling card of director Yoko Taro. I've been a fan of his since Drakengard back on the PS2, and though most people know him from Nier series, and particularly Nier Automata, Yoko's known for being eccentric, unconventional, and strange, but strange in a good way when it comes to his game design and writing. In particular, Yoko Taro's really good at telling a story with dark atmospheres and incorporating very unique characters. Those are all things he's once again shown in SINoALICE. The game starts with a choice. We have 4 characters from the start to choose from. They are Alice, Snow White, Red Riding Hood, and Pinocchio. Now, I've played through some of Red Riding Hood and Pinocchio thus far, and without spoiling, I can just tell you guys, they are not who I expected them to be. Let's just say Red Riding Hood may have a hood, but it's red because of different reasons. That she isn't the innocent and helpless girl of our childhoods, and that's just for starters. For Pinocchio, he isn't actually a puppet, but like a puppet, he's as dependent as one. As for the other two, Alice and Snow White, well, I don't really know much about them, but if Red Riding Hood and Pinocchio are this different, I'm pretty excited to try them out later on. Of course, those aren't the only characters, as there are many other characters from different fairy tales, such as Cinderella, Gretel, Princess Kaguya, Little Mermaid, Sleeping Beauty, and many, many more. And I expect many more will be added to the story as time continues. There are also collab characters, such as 2B and A2 from Nier Automata, and I believe they have more characters from Nier games in general coming as well. I have to say, overall, I've had a lot of fun with the stories. The game's story progresses by acts, which split into chapters and parts. Basically, you start an act, you start the chapter, you get a bit of story in each part that tells you more about your character and sets up the scenario they find themselves in. To progress, you play through a multi-wave battle in the style of RPG, before hopefully clearing the chapter and getting some rewards. Now, like most RPGs, you can get some experience, drops, gold, and other resources from the battles. More importantly, clearing story also gives you crystals. These can be used to pull, and since this is a gacha game, pulling does a lot. Pulling allows you to get better weapons to improve your damage, and additionally some weapons have characters tied to them, so by pulling for weapons you also get access to different variations and classes of characters. As a whole, there's a lot of fun to be had with collecting characters and improving them for sure, but it all circles back to the story. By pulling for weapons and better characters and variations of characters, you progress through story faster, which gets you more crystals to allow you to pull more, which allows you to progress through the story faster and easier. This is worth it because this is a story-driven game. The character interactions are often golden. My favorite thus far have involved Pinocchio and Princess Kaguya. Those two at a fundamental level seem so similar, but when you put them together, things get so goofy. In any case, these aren't things I want to spoil, so I hope you guys give story a chance and enjoy it. What I can spoil though is the music. I really enjoyed the music in SINoALICE. You've been listening to the soundtrack all along, and now I want to put some focus on some tracks that you experience through the game. think you can tell the music here is really good. The soundtrack is by Keiichi Okabe. For any fans of Yoko Taro's work, you should know him as he's provided the music for many of his games. The music is powerful, emotional, and adds a lot of depth to the game. Usually you can't say that for a gacha game, but the music here is top tier. With that said, SINoALICE isn't just story and music. There are also guilds in PvP. In this game, PvP happens in Colosseum, and it's an integral part of the game. It's not only a source of daily fun, interactions, but it's also a source of resources. My friends and viewers have defined it as 15 vs 15 bopping each other on the head. And if you've ever looked into it, maybe that's how it got explained to you too. Personally, that's not too descriptive, so let me try and make some sense of it to you. After making a new account, you can see that you can't just play Colosseum. It's not a solo affair and requires you to be in a guild. That's not too hard, as to access guilds, all you have to do is clear Chapter 2, Part 10 with any character. After that is accomplished, all you really need to do is decide on a time slot you can and want to do guild battles during, and pick a guild based on that. This is important as guild battles occur in real time and take up to 20 minutes to play through. If you're not available for the time, you won't be there to participate, and while an AI version of yourself will play, you won't be able to experience it for yourself. Fortunately, it's pretty easy to find a guild with the right times for you. You can just create a search criteria and join a guild based on the times you're available to play for. Once you have a guild, let's talk about that 15 vs 15 concept. The composition of each team's guild in a guild battle will be 5 Vanguard and 10 Rearguard. Ideally, the best damage dealers will be in the Vanguard, and the Rearguard will carry the supports. As mentioned, the entire battle takes 20 minutes. To win, you must have more points than the opposing guild at the end of those 20 minutes. The general goal during the battle is to take down enemy Vanguard. Doing so will send them to a recovery phase, and while they're trying to revive their Vanguard, you can try and break down their ship. If you do take down their ship, you get some of the opposing guild's points. Battle also isn't like how it is in other modes. For those with experience in the game, SP does not recover naturally, and it has to be managed carefully. If you run out of SP, you have to refresh it through a minigame. For every attack you get on the opposing team, you get Inochi, which are the score points. At the conclusion of the 20 minutes, the team with the most Inochi from attacking enemy vanguards and attacking the enemy guild ship wins. With that said, guild battles can get pretty serious. I've seen some of the more serious guilds be in live communication with each other in voice chat during the guild battles. Now, not every guild is like that, of course, but since this is a guild versus another guild, and presuming most people are online at the same time once you get to the higher levels, it gets to be pretty serious stuff. It's not meant to scare you, of course, but it's really cool to have that interaction with other people, to rely on other people, to have other people support you, and ultimately strive for the same goal of winning the guild battle. Now, I know that was a lot of explanation, but trust me, if you just play through it, it gets a lot more simple. With that said, there is even more to it, like nightmares, Shima bonuses, and how ranking works and whatnot. But again, I'll be honest, the first time everything was explained to me, it was a big cluster of information. Ultimately, once I played, it made a lot more sense, and people made the basics seem much more complicated than it actually was. Giving it a try is the best way to experience Colosseum, and at the end of the day, the most important thing is to have fun. But I have to admit, maybe more important than fun is free stuff. Win or lose, by participating, you get 4 gems, which you can use for polls as well as personal Colosseum rewards. Ultimately, there are a lot of goodies, it's some good fun, and there's nothing to lose, so I hope you guys give it a try. With that, I think that's a good first look at SINoALICE. Keep in mind, the game is free to play, so there's really no reason not to try. I've linked it in the description so you guys can check it out there if you want. For me personally, SINoALICE has been a very unique experience. It truly is a Yoko Taro written game, and the music of Keiichi Okabe, it feels so familiar to their other works. Everything fits together really well, and you can tell there's a lot of love that went into the game. The developers continue to add to the game by introducing more acts, which expand the story, along with more characters, collaborations, and more. This is a game I'll continue to play, so I hope you guys give it a try. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like or subscribe, and hopefully you'll catch me stream SINoALICE on Twitch. You guys are the best for making it this far. Please take care.